Okay, so today I'm doing something that I really enjoy doing, and that's evaluating a trail camera. As you can see, this is part of my collection of trail cameras. I spend a lot of money on cameras. Top left there, I have my Bushnell Nature View Cam, probably my most expensive one. But the one second from the right there is what we're going to talk about today. And it's a new camera, and I'm comparing it in probably unfairly with some of these higher end cameras. They range anywhere from 125. The Browning Strike Force is 170 right now. The Bushnell lineup is about 125, unless of course you get that nature view. Here's a spike that I like to put into a tree and mount my cameras on here. This is the Browning Strike Force, $170. I have a couple of these. They're okay, but they won't take still images and video at the same time. This is another of the Browning lineup. This one was 130, I believe. Does okay, but it has let me down time and time again by not getting the animal that I was trying to get. Now here's the thing, I'm not a deer hunter, so I'm actually looking for much smaller game. Now the cameras that are split in half like this, that's great because you can look at that little viewfinder and you open up the bottom and you can see how the camera is positioned. And that is the same with this Victure HC600. This is a close-up of the outside here. This camera is under $100 by a lot. In fact, I think right now while I'm producing this video sequence, it is even on sale because we're just about to go into Christmas. Here's the camera. You can see the LEDs. It takes 8 AA batteries. Some of my other cameras take 12. You can also get a 12-volt DC adapter for AC current. And you can run cables through the back and strap it to a tree. As I mentioned before, I put those anchors on the side of the tree and mount it on that because it's articulated that way and I can angle it anywhere I want. Cable or the strap that comes with it through here on the back has one locking clasp there on the left, and that's because just the bottom opens, the top doesn't. In this video I'm going to show you a demonstration of how it works: day, night, shade, sun, and I'm going to show you how to set it up and go through the menus with you as well. So when you open up the bottom, the weather sealing is pretty good. It's a plastic housing, as are all the others. The controls are pretty clear. And again, I'm going to demonstrate those because we're going to go through it. It takes an SD card, and the maximum card is a 32 gig, so that's what we're going to use. You also have a USB plug in here. We're using a SanDisk Extreme Pro 300 megabyte per second 32 gigabyte card. We don't want the card to be the choke point when it's loading videos, for example, and this thing takes 1080p video. The strap is included, and this little mounting hardware is also included. I'm just not going to use that. The battery compartment comes right out. Also, there's a 1/4-20 thread here. You can put that on a standard tripod mount, which is super convenient. And you have all the controls on the panel here. You have videos, stills, and the battery compartment comes out. I like that. It's easy to load. Some of my other cameras, I'll tell you what, getting the batteries in and out is a huge pain. We're also using Energizer Ultimate Lithium batteries. They have the greatest cold weather performance and they'll last the longest. In the past, I've often used Anyloop AA batteries that are rechargeable, but I've stopped doing that for trail cameras. They just didn't last as long and they let me down. Also, you can see on the bottom there's that DC port. When you push in your SD card, it just locks in, and that's the closed position right there. When it goes to take it out, don't just pull it, give it a push and it'll bump back out for you. This is the camera. I put a piece of white tape over the camera so that when I'm doing the screen here I don't see myself. And we're going to turn it on. Now when we go from off to AIM, that's so that you can program the camera. And hit the menu button over here, and we're going to start with the mode. I like dual mode. And some of those other cameras, like that Browning Strike Force, you can't take stills and video together, but with this camera, you can. So we're going to do that, and we're also going to decide what size photos we're going to have. It says photo resolution. It goes all the way up to 20 megapixel images. We're going to do that because I'm testing quality here. The other thing is capture series. How many images do we want it to shoot before it goes to video mode? I like it to take 2 pictures. So it'll take 2 still images and then it'll start recording the video. We're going to go all the way up to 1080p, and these are stored in a file of AVI, which goes right into Adobe Premiere Pro, which I like. Some of my other cameras don't do it. What's the duration of the video I want? We can go all the way up to 10 minutes on this thing. That's ridiculous. I'm going to run it for 30 seconds because I just want to see what's running around. I'm going to use this camera and I'm going to test it on very small animals, mice, rats, whatever's going around. We're going to have it wait here about, I think it should wait 5 seconds maybe, or 10 between sequences. So it'll take 2 still images, make a video, wait 10 seconds, and then start again. I want the sensitivity to be high. I'm after small mammals. And that means any tiny animal that moves, it'll come on. Economic here, which is a weird way to phrase that, but I assume that's the lowest brightness for the LED lights here, and it is a low glow night light that the animals are not supposed to see. You have a chance to do time lapse. You can set it in a field, have it take an interval whether there's movement or not. I leave that off. Timer setting. Instead of day and night modes, this thing lets you set the hours you want it to come on and to turn off. So that's kind of handy too. Camera name, you can name it. Timestamp, I want that because primarily I just want to see what the temperatures are. I did not take the time to do the date and everything right now. Temperature unit, we're going to go with Fahrenheit. You have the choice of Celsius there. Password, don't put that in. If you punch in a password on this thing, every time you turn it on, you're going to have to enter the password. I don't like that. Let's format the card. Always, when you put a new card in, click Format. Formats it for the camera, selects the card. Now it's ready to take all the pictures and video we want. You can also set all the camera defaults by clicking Default. Firmware, you can click on that, click on the version, and it will show us what the current firmware version is. You can go to their website and see if that is current. If there's an update, you're going to want to follow their instructions and download and install the camera update. But right now, this one is up to date. So that's it. We got the mode, photo resolution, capture series, 2 stills, 1 video. And I'm going to test this out first on small birds outside because I think that's a great challenge. And then we're going to search for small mammals at night inside my bee shed. Also, go from the off position to on. Don't go from AIM to on. If you've programmed everything, turn it off first, then go to on. Also, eject the batteries. If you're setting it somewhere for any length of time, even in the off position, this thing will use your batteries. Here we have strong contrast video. The sunlight is hitting this roosting box, and small birds have triggered the camera for this video sequence, so this is pretty decent. Remember, we're at 1080p. This thing only shoots at 30 frames per second. That's fine with me, because the purpose of a game camera is just so that you'll know what's out there. So if this were a deer or something, you could definitely count the details, get the markings, count the points on its antlers, whatever you need to do. And the small birds definitely trigger the system. Here's a still shot. The 20 megapixel still shot, I'm showing it to you reduced in size so it'll fit this video format. But that's a chickadee on the landing board. So, and now we have another still. There's a bird on the post there flapping its wings, so the wings are blurred, so the trigger is a little slow. And we're in shade here with a high contrast, bright sunlight in the background. So that's a pretty critical test for a camera, and it captured it pretty good. Plus, you can hear the bird noises here, wing flaps and things like that. It's a female cardinal there eating black oil sunflower seeds, and chickadees, of course. Now we're at nighttime in my bee shed. I took a beehive that had some frames in it with wax, and we're looking at little deer mice running around. This thing picked up on the movement of deer mice. Now they're about 5 feet away from the camera. Now notice that it did blow them out a little bit. I'd like to have seen the illumination go lower than this, but remember, this is for hunters primarily, not for people like me who just want to know how many mice or rats or squirrels or whatever I might be dealing with. Look off to the right there. There's a wagon wheel with a mouse on it. So it definitely triggered and got that with that still shot. This thing had 0 false triggers. Look at that bee box, and there's a mouse right at the lower edge there. And it's staring at the camera, and it's listening, and its ears are perked forward. I think the camera does make a noise, and I think that they can actually see a little illumination because that mouse is paying attention to it. But pretty soon it just scampers back down there and goes right back to the black oil sunflower seeds that I've put out for it. There it goes. So probably if I set it farther away, now I thought I had a rat there. Look how big that is. It turns out to be a squirrel, thank goodness. But at least I know I have in this bee shed 2 deer mice and a squirrel. So what do I think of the camera? I think for the price point and the features that it has and the performance that it demonstrates, this is an outstanding camera. I would definitely recommend it. I'm going to put a link to it in the video description to Amazon. Check it out for yourself. Under $100, unbeatable quality and features. Thanks for watching.